was that, so just hit it again. I have to fix that.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Trading Show. My name is David. We're going to break down some charts, maybe put some trades in, make some money. I'm excited to be here with you today. If you're joining us from the morning show, welcome. Just want to go over my current trade I'm in. This is a spot trade. So I'm in an aerodrome trade. This was my, I got it at 89,415. That was my limit price. Yeah, we did that one. And then I have my sell order in on this one, guys, at 97,343. I expect that to get hit. If it dips below 89, then I'll just take the L, but I do think it has more upside to come. I was looking at the 1 hour on this one. We'll kind of zoom in here. So the first thing, on this one, MACD bullish crossover. The histogram's increasing. Not seeing those light shaded green bars, which typically tells you that the move to the upside is drawing to a close. Again, got that bullish crossover. And the last time we got that bullish crossover was here, and Aerodrome rallied. It's right here. And Aerodrome essentially rallied 22%, which on a 10K position is $2,200. So there's my mortgage for the month. And so doing a little bit of I'm pulling profits a little earlier on this one. I'm trying to get out before we hit this large volume node here on Aerodrome, which is 97,969. That's why my exit is 97,343. And so chances are that it's probably going to blow right through that level and try to reclaim that really, really big liquidity level, which is here with a price of $1.07. But I'm good. I think this trade's going to net me like, 1.2K or 1.3K. And so, no, pretty good. Got to try not to get greedy. You get greedy. There's a saying, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. What does that mean? I mean, when a pig is nice and round, they let the pig get big, and then the pig's happy. And then once the pig gets too fat, turn into a hog, that's when they chop that thing off. And, well, you don't want to be the hog. You want to be the pig, okay? And so, yeah, that one is just set it and forget it, guys. I also followed Forrest on a nano spot position. Forrest has been pretty spot on, and let me show you his post. He's one of the few. Forrest is one of the few, and we kind of talk outside of just Fridays. Obviously, we have a pretty good relationship with Forrest. And so this is interesting. And it kind of goes back to the thesis of, well, when something is breaking big trend lines, that's when you kind of want to go for it. And then if we take a look at a nano chart, we'll get XNO. We'll look at it from Binance. This is what the daily chart looks like. It had a push all the way up to $1.26. Massive spike in volume. Red dot V-shaped recovery on the momentum indicators on market cipher B here. And the important thing, you guys, is getting above this 97 cent level on Nano. Now, Nano does show 90 cents right now. Binance shows 89.8 cents, so pretty damn close. But this large kind of consolidation area, right? And I'll drop some flags so we can see what the price range is, right? So bottom end of the range is kind of around about 88.6 cents. $1.06 is your top end of the range. And then there's a massive gap. There's a massive volume gap until you get to about $1.30, which was your high before we ultimately fell here. Right? $1.26. We'll move this up and call it $1, about $1.27, $1.30. Okay. Let's get rid of you. Let's take a peek at what Nano has done at these levels. Major support area here. 1, 2, 3. Ultimately failed on a retest, came back down, bounced off of this liquidity level of 90 cents. And on the way down from $1, looks like $1.70, $1.90 on the way down. We fell right through, consolidated broke below, retest, failed, chop, 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 down, and now we're back at that. Now we'll be attempting to take that level again. You can see it got there on a wick, got rejected. So all these sellers are still not shaken out. Maybe we got in a little too early, but that's okay. This is a spot position. This is not a leverage position, so we don't got to worry about getting liquidated on margin. And so if this thing does trend back down and retest these lows or retest this high here at around 76 cents, I'm completely fine holding. But I do expect this thing to make a run at $1.30 again. And then once it makes a run at $1.30, all right, once we clear these spikes, these highs, right? Your second high here is $2.30. This is an important high around $3.40. And then you're really kind of talking about running this thing back to all-time highs, which is $17.67. It is in a niche, a vertical, a narrative that has been running very hot, which is payment/privacy. And so I was checking my wallet. I already had a little bit of nano, but I increased my size pretty substantially relative to what it was before I increased the size. Kuzukan said, I produced music. Bro, if you want to make me a copyright-free hour-long soundtrack for the trading show, I'll play it. If it's good, I'll play it, and I'll give you massive credit. Maybe I'll throw you some money, too, if it's really good. And so send it, you know what? If you make it, send the MP4 or MP3 file. I'd say, what was it, MP4, Gina? Or Rob, MP4? Never mind. Send it to that email. I'll get it. And if it's good, the important thing is it's got to be copyright free and preferably instrumentals. So, yeah, if you do that, let me know. Send it over, and I'll definitely give you a shout out. And again, maybe something that I can throw you a little bit of cash to as well. Yeah, the other music, it's just so hard to find copyright free music. Definitely don't want to get any channel strikes. Let's look at the lower time frame on Nano. This is the 1 hour. Potential bear flag here, or we can coming into a little bit of a cup and handle here. You do have strong support sitting right around 80 cents even. So anyways, yeah, that's my spot position. If it drops down back down to 80 cents, I'm fine. You know, I plan to take some profit around $1.20. That'll be a nice little for my entry. Let's check. From David's entry, that would be a 44% move. So not bad. Not bad at all. And so, yeah, that's not. Let's take a look at Ethereum because it is on the thumbnail. Let's go to the daily on ETH. We put this head and shoulders pattern, which played out beautifully, and expect to get some resistance at the neckline on the way back up, which puts us at, if it's on today's candle, 36.17. Tomorrow's candle, 36.14. So let's call it $3,600 is going to be a very important level for Ethereum to retake and stay above. Again, this is the neckline after the head and shoulders break to the downside. Let's take a look at Market Cipher on Ethereum. Seeing a nice bounce on momentum here. All right, putting in lower lows. Really nice bounce. We want to take out these highs here. First high we want to take out is here. RSI of around 30. Second high is here. RSI of around 50. If we can tap this OB1 level, chances are we're probably going to break that $3,600 and make our way back up to, no, I was going to say 7K. Tom Lee over here. $4,000. It's going to be a key level, psychological level. If you are in an Ethereum trade or an Ethereum long, be prepared to potentially pull some profits before it hits 4K, unless the markets are on absolute fire. Also waiting on a potential green dot here for a high time frame anchor wave, trigger wave, long entry. As you can see, Market Cipher gave you the short entry here on this small trigger wave to the downside. And I always like to go back and look at how these calls have played out. And guys, I'm telling you, man, this was a 20% move to the downside. If you're trading on leverage, well, then multiply that by however much leverage you're trading. That's a really nice trade off of a simple anchor wave, trigger wave, long/short entry using Market Cipher. There's a link in the description if you want to support the channel. And if you want to get Market Cipher, checking in on Wire, you guys know this is my largest virtuals ecosystem hold. Trending up at 1.94 cents, market cap of around 18.6 million. This is one us and our Patreon members got in at around 7 million. Or excuse me, around 6 million. So we're sitting on a nice 3x. Gonna hit that 4x real soon. But this thing has a lot of bullish momentum. A lot of whales are stepping in. And I believe I was looking this morning. Yeah, there was one whale who sold a 13K clip. And here's what I tell people. And I want to tell you guys too. If I give you small cap plays, for the love of God, don't jeet the chart like $5,000 at a time. You're going to fuck it up for everyone. You're going to fuck it up for me. You're going to fuck it up for the person next to you. You're probably going to fuck it up for yourself too. So if you have a $10,000 position that you want to exit, sell it in $1,000 chunks every 30 minutes or an hour. You're not screwing the next person. You're not screwing yourself. And who knows, maybe you'll get another leg up off of the sell. Don't do what this guy did. Okay? And that's something I'll never do either. Even if I'm sitting on a $100,000 position, first of all, if I look to exit that completely, I'll be looking to do it OTC. I would hit up the team directly and see if they'll buy back the tokens for me at a fair price. Doesn't affect the charts, doesn't affect the markets. Everything's gravy. But even if I did do it on the order books, we're not doing it 10K at a time on a coin that's got thin liquidity, 1.1 million, market cap of 20 million. So I expect this thing to run up to the hundreds of millions. I don't know how high. Can it get to $1 billion? Maybe. If it does, that's what's 6 million to 1 billion? That's more than 100x. That's almost a 200x, about 170x if my math is correct. Obviously, those are big numbers. I don't know if it's going to get there, but if there's one virtuals project, well, I'd say two. Tibber is one of them. This one's the second one that I think can get to that. And it's all going to be utility driven, not speculation driven. Speculation driven will just kind of take it over the top. Utility is going to ride this thing up. And then you got the speculators, the people that are just looking to maybe catch a quick, a quick 5x, 2x. That'll kind of take it over the top, whether it's 500 million, 100 million, or $1 billion. Let's take a look at ICP. You know, ICP had a massive run. Massive run. Let's take a look at the daily. Coming up to resistance again. You know, it's fucking. I was talking to Billy yesterday. Man, my short order filled. My short filled at 6:30, 6:31, $6.31. I had my stop loss up, I think like 6 cents below where the fucking wick went, and I got stopped out. If I wouldn't have gotten stopped out, man, my entry would have been 6:31, and I would have taken my profits before we got to this large liquidity point here. That would have been a 22% trade. I think I had like a 15x leverage on it too. Got stopped out. Yay. But you know, I never used to dabble in spot when I was trading. My spot was usually buy and hold. But I've been dabbling in a spot as far as kind of swing trading. And it's definitely nice knowing that they can't really liquidate you and dump all your money if price hits certain levels that they know. So what's next for ICP? The most important thing, guys, is going to be not only clearing $5.45, but staying above $5.45. If we can, you have a small gap to maybe make a swing trade here. And let's see that gap. About a 15% gap to make a swing trade. Before we hit the ultimate important level, which is $6.25, you can see how big of a pain in the ass this level has been across the board, just getting rejected each time with significant pullbacks. You know, you got 20% pullbacks all the way around, with the largest one coming recently, which saw ICP draw down 53%. This looks bullish, increased volume. We're seeing tons of fresh open interest hitting the ICP charts here. As you can see, 3 out of the last 5 candles, we've had massive fresh open interest. So new traders, new positions being opened on ICP. Can they carry through these levels, if we do, you have another gap. This one's a little larger, I believe. This one's a 25% gap before we talk about another important resistance level for ICP, and that is on the macro trend line from $20, right? On the way down, tapping, failing to make that new high at $15.20, which was about a 25% discount? And this would ultimately be a 50% haircut. If we do get back up to the level from previous high of 1520. But if we clear 770, and I have a feeling it's gonna be off the back of caffeine AI, right? I mean, AI is literally saving certain crypto projects, except Near and Fetch. Sorry. Near and Fetch. Near literally started off as an AI company. What happened? Fetch AI was a leader in AI. They went through a consolidation of powers and at the exact wrong time. And now they miss out on the entire AI run. You guys know my favorite AI plays. BitTensor is still far and away number one. Virtual is a very close second when we talk about infrastructure. And when you dig into the higher risk plays in AI, ecosystem and virtual, so virtual agents, and then BitTensor subnets, you guys. That's where you're going to get the highest risk, the highest reward, but also with medium to high risk as well. I had a endo appointment this morning. I'm getting some implants done. Didn't get a chance to eat breakfast, so I got some cashews here on the side. A little cashew floating around in my teeth here. I don't know why you needed to know that, but here we are. So watch for those levels, you guys. Again, if you are in a long trade, just be cognizant of those levels. Maybe see what price does and maybe try to scalp a short real quick, come back down, retest this high, 427, and then run this thing back up to $5.33. This wouldn't be the worst range to trade in, you guys. It's large enough to where you don't have to put massive amounts. Let me change the color of this one. It's large enough to where you don't have to put massive amounts of margin or leverage, okay? Right? This is a pretty big gap. If we do stay range bound, just long the support and short the resistance. It's a 26% gap, okay? Until we get that breakout, whether it's a breakdown or a breakup. I'm leaning break up with the momentum we're seeing with ICP, caffeine AI, and everything. So, yeah. Let's take a look at the bubbles, and we'll take a look at some charts. If there's anything you guys want me to take a look at, please let me know. Aave, I'll look at Aave. Aave's an interesting one. That was down. It was under $200. I didn't add any more. I didn't sell any of my current position. Let's take a look at an Aave chart real quick. I think Aave should be right here. Beautiful. Let's go. Let's go full here. I guess we can kind of extend this pattern out this way. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. Daily falling channel should break to the upside. Big levels to watch, 259 and 263. Top end of your range here on today's candle is sitting at 222. So watch to see what price does at that level, right? If we run it back to that 220 level, are we going to finally get a breakout? If we do, right, there's some confluence here. 229 is where your largest volume node sits. Colin, I've already done ETH. You got to rewind a little bit. That's where your largest volume level sits, and you can see what price did. So I don't want to be in here. I want to wait to see what price does. We're going to get another consolidation. If we do, whichever way the price chart breaks out, that's the way you want to trade. So here, if we consolidate and we get a breakdown, that is the way you want to trade to the bottom end of this range. Once we reclaim that level, we have one more key level up at 259.40. And then after that, let's take a look. Above 260, you got $300. So you have a pretty nice gap to trade here. It's a $15 gap to trade. Once we clear 230, right? Sticking to the daily time frame, you're looking at cycle highs of cycle highs is not 387. Cycle highs is 400. $400. So we are currently a 2x away. And I know I didn't need to draw the I didn't need to draw the measuring tool because 200 to 400 is a 2x. I promise I used to be better at math. Steve Hickey, what's going on, man? Jenny, I don't give love to the chat. Let me go ahead and give some love to the chat here. Beach Bum Lifestyle said, let's talk about ICP. I did. World Liberty Finance Famous said, World Liberty Fi. Maybe we'll take a look at that. Joe Carpenter, Brokyoshi, what's going on, brother? Kuzakanar said hi to you. And our favorite, Everything to Zero Man, which is Muhammad. What's up, dude? I can't believe we made you a mod. What were we thinking, bro? What were we thinking? Just kidding. We love you, Muhammad. Okay, let's take a peek at... So Ave waiting for a flip. You can try to trade this range 171 to 220. Excuse me, at 215. It's a pretty good gap. Just be prepared for it to break one way or the other, and just make sure you're not on the opposite or you're on the wrong side of the trade when that does happen. Because if it does, I think that move is going to be very, very explosive. Okay, World Liberty Finance. I hold 0 World Liberty Finance. I'm not interested in holding any World Liberty Finance, but we'll do a chart anyways. I mean, what is this? This is bad. Horrible. But, normally you look at the chart like this and you say, yeah, I'm out. But because it has a Trump name behind it, you kind of can't do that. You can if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, can we see this thing run it all the way back to 55 cents again? A solid 5x from here? Maybe. Let's go down to the daily time frame here on World Liberty Finance. I was looking for a potential. Let's see if we have any bullish divergence here. We do have some bullish divergence. Okay. Got a little bull div here on the daily time frame. Let's pull this bad boy up. Stretch you out a little bit. That sounded really bad. Bad boy, stretch it out. My bad. Shut up, Gina. A little bit of bullish divergence here on the daily time frame for World Liberty Financing. A nice bounce here at around 10 cents. So I guess if you're looking for the perfect entry to hold spot, 10 cents would be a great level. But I want to see, can we take out 12.18 cents on a close? We're almost there. We're at 12.12. You have this large volume node at around 14 cents. That would be the next level I keep my eye out on. If you're looking for a trade, would be this box right here. We can extend this thing out. Drop a couple flags here. You're looking at 15.1 to around 13.78 cents. And guys, here's the good news. If we can get above 15 cents, that we have nothing until 20 cents. If we can get above 15.1 cents, there's next to nothing stopping us from getting up to 20. A lot of consolidation happened at 20 cents, a lot of bounces, right? And the moves off those bounces, you had a 30% move off that bounce. This bounce was much smaller. That was a 5% bounce. This one, although we did get a deviation, right? Even if we take it from the 20 cent, this was a 10% bounce. So on the way up, this is going to be resistance. I don't see anything that tells me outside of the bullish div on the daily that tells me this would be a great entry now. Let's keep our same box and let's zoom into the 4-hour time frame. A little bit of a bear flag on the 4-hour here. You can also say this is kind of a mini. Okay, this is kind of a mini head and shoulders pattern that looks like it's breaking out now. Let's get our handy dandy. No, let's get our handy dandy drawing tool here. This is this is a little bit of a deformed head and shoulders pattern here, or inverse head and shoulders pattern, but nonetheless, you have your left shoulder, your right shoulder, and your head that kind of took out both of those lows. And you're testing the neckline now. You're testing your neckline now. You got rejected the first time, 12.2 cents. Look for that breakout. So this one actually might be something. If we peek our head above 12.38 cents, I think a long up to 13.84 cents is going to be a great move. It's going to be an 11% rally. We'll look to take profits before we hit that high volume node. So I guess we'll set an alert. We'll see what it does. 12.38 cents. Potential long entry. So for the person who's asking me for World Liberty Finance, there's a level I'd be looking out for. If we get rejected at the neckline, 11.6 cents, kind of holding that low we had here, that higher low from this head is going to be very important. You have tons of volume here as well. Just a lot of volume all the way around. You got a big gap between like where we're at now up to that 14-cent level. And so there's definitely an opportunity for this thing to just take the handle and run. But yeah, I'd be looking to take out that 12.38 cent level before entering into any sort of long here. SWE, I saw someone ask for SWE, and for the love of God, don't buy this garbage. I see so many people on X saying, buy the dip, the community's taking over. This thing is dead. Please, 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 please. I know it hurts if you're holding it, but don't do the whole bullshit of let me bring my cost basis down. This thing is gonna round. No, you'll see some spurts, but it's just don't do it. Please. There's so much better money to make elsewhere. Don't get caught up in this garbage, okay? Take your L and move on. Where's SWE? Sweet, sweet, SWE. Let's start high time frame on SWE. $1.89. So far, so good. Remember, this is on the weekly. Now, are we going to call this a deviation, right? So this is your symmetrical triangle here. We've had 3 touches on the top side, 1, 2, 3 on the downside, currently below with a potential double bottom here. This was an M pattern. Yeah, this was an M pattern that hasn't flagged yet. So we'll see what happens with that. But for me, based on where the markets are going and Bitcoin's above 104K, sentiment is kind of back a little bit. Prices are back a little bit. And so if all things hold and Bitcoin doesn't drop to below 100K again, I can definitely see this, us looking at this weekly time chart or weekly chart and seeing this as just a big wick. And we run it back to the top end of this pattern, which, I mean, 355 would be the level I'd be looking out for. Let's keep this symmetrical triangle and let's zoom out. Let's clean up. Let's clean up that. Let's clean up that. Let's clean up that. Let's keep you. Let's get rid of you. And we'll keep the rest. So this is keeping the high time frame weekly symmetrical triangle, but zooming into the daily. So you can see here, the daily showed you this level did not hold. So on the way back up, guys, before we can come back into this pattern, and you kind of have a pattern within a pattern here. You have a little bit of, this is, I guess you can call this another symmetrical triangle, more of maybe a descending triangle, which did break to the downside. So there's your first level on the way back up. Obviously, it's going to be around 229, which is your bottom end trend line here. If we do get back into this range, expect, depending on when it happens, expect another level of resistance right at $2.43 for SWE. This is very high time frame, you guys, and we do have some confluence here. Well, it went away. I guess we have a little bit of confluence here at around 226, which is the top end of this region. Kind of a ghost town in volume. You have a little bit of around 285, and then you don't get a big volume node until about $3.50. And so those would be the levels that I keep my eye out on SWE. Let's go down to the 4-hour here. We're seeing any signs of reversal on the 4-hour. Is that a little bit of a... So nice V-shaped recovery. You want to get cute and call this an inverse head and shoulders? You can, right? You're feeling kind of cute today. You can. I know that sounds really, really gay. Whatever. 221 would be your level, right? 10% move, not bad, right? Either do high margin or high leverage. High leverage, just have a tight stop loss. Nice spike in volume too. You can see on the bottom. Let's take a look at OI. Actually, while we have RSI pulled up, bullish divergence on the 4 hour as well. It's more defined if you take it from the low here, right? I'm going to stretch it out. You can see. Here's your first low. Here's your lower low, while RSI is making higher lows. That means bulls are stepping in earlier. Bulls are stepping in earlier. So that's bullish divergence. So all signs point to reversal on the SWE chart. Again, mark out your $2.29/$2.30 level on SWE. And just make sure that if you are in a trade, in a profitable long trade, you are looking to potentially scalp some profits before we hit that level. We could very well blow right through that level and go right back into that symmetrical triangle, depending on market conditions. But for the time being, that's going to be your lower time frame level to look out for. And then we can pull up Market Cipher real quick. Let's take a peek at what Market Cipher is telling us on the 4 hour on SWE. Money flow deep in the red. VWAP trading above. A little bit of disparity here between our VWAP and our money flow. Not really a V-shaped recovery. Did put in a higher low here on the momentum indicators to the downside, which is not necessarily good. 4 hour momentum is clipping. Let's look at the 1 hour. Same thing on the 1 hour. Looks like money flow is expanding, continuing to expand to the downside. Can we hold this low of around 29? If we can, that's a good sign. We are putting in lower highs on VWAP. And this is what you don't want to see. Right? We talk about to the upside all the time. We see V-shaped recoveries and momentum waves. You've seen now two V-shaped or V-shaped non-recoveries on the opposite side, on the short side. And so low time frames, the bears are still in control, you guys. There's a couple of bullish setups, but you can see consolidation here. Let's see how tight these Bollinger Bands are. Yeah, these BBs are getting super duper tight. Let's get rid of some of these brush strokes here. Get rid of you, and let's get rid of you. You can stay. Yeah, constricted Bollinger Bands, right? This one lasted about we'll call it 2 days before we had that big break to the downside. That 25% break to the downside. So this very well may be another couple days before we see which way SWE breaks out, and consolidation is happening at a very, very, well, in fact, the largest volume level on the 1 hour time frame here. So for me, SWE is a wait and see. That rhymes. That was pretty cool, right? Was that cool, guys, or what? Shut up, Robin. Stupid. So SWE is a wait and see. Let's check in on Aerodrome. 92,079. Nano's back up to 92 cents. So Nano's pushing, trying to make that push back up. Looks like this is going to be a little bit of a cup and handle pattern. So with that being said, if this is a cup and handle pattern on Nano, where do we expect the handle to settle? Well, your first level is your 236 level, which is your 90 cent. Second level is going to be your 50, which is 84.7 cents. Oh, this thing just wants to break, dude. Oh, it just popped up to 93 cents. Too bad it's not available on Coinbase. Yeah, this looks good, man. This is on the 1 hour. 1 hour looks juicy. Momentum, great. VWAP expansion, money flow expansion, green dot on momentum waves. That's on the 1 hour. I think this thing's about to run it back up to $1. 96 cents, high volume level, and then $1.15. No, Jenny, I don't own any peak. I don't even know what that is. What is peak? Let's find out. Number 311, market cap of 95 million, sub 100 million market cap. Peak. Peak is a layer 1 blockchain powering the machine economy, designed to power decentralized physical infrastructure networks. I don't know. I'm not like writing it off, but DPIN is I guess infrastructure to some degree I am bullish on, but I guess that would mean DPIN too, right? I just think there's so many L1s, dude. And if we learned anything from these companies, they just fucking build their own L1s, right? JP Morgan Chase, their own L1. Citi, their own L1. Their own coins, their own stable coins. Stripe, their own L1. Circle, their own L1. A fucking crypto native company just built their own L1. They launched their USDC originally on ETH, Base. They're on all of them, almost all the big L1s, and they decided to do their own L1. So if that's the case, it's a lot riskier to try to pick the L1 that they're going to pick versus, okay, fine, whether they do their own L1 or they pick an L1, is there one project that benefits from both? And the answer is yes, and the name of that project is Chainlink. And I kind of sound retarded. I'm sure people watching, they're like, this guy's retarded. He's been talking about Chainlink for 2 years. It hasn't moved a fucking inch. You're right. You're right. I still believe in the project. I hold a project long-term. This is not a flip for me. This is not a swing trade. This is I bought at a really good price. I'm still in the green. If it goes down to under $10, I'll still be in the green because I bought during the bear market. And I'm holding it, man. Infrastructure, big partnerships. Might not see price action now, but we will see it. Can you look at Dash? Ricky Romero, $2 super chat. Thank you. Can I look at Dash? I sure can look at Dash. Dash, Rob was more bullish on Dash short term. I am a little more bearish on price action for the time being. On Dash, let's see what we can pull from this chart. Let's go to the daily. We're seeing distribution on the daily after a big move up. Obviously, guys, if you people that were in Dash, right, $50, bro, you got a 3x. You're taking profit. And Ricky Romero, just in case I'm not around to do this, you can do this on your own, my friend. I'm not saying I'm not giving you shit here, but if you're ever like, hey, where's the pullback going to stop? Just take your Fibonacci. From trough to high, so from where the breakout started to the wick, and then mark out your 50. You can see we almost got there on a wick. Mark out your 50, bro, and then that's usually a good entry if market conditions are intact. So 96.32 would be the level I'd be looking out for Dash. Doesn't mean we can't see small spurts. Rob trades the small spurts. I do sometimes as well. But I like to get in on large pullback, important pullback levels, like the 50, like the gold pocket, sometimes the 236, not very often. In fact, I should probably just get rid of my 236. I don't even use it. So we'll keep our 50, our gold pocket, and our 786. I'm totally happy doing that. So for me, Dash, my friend, a good entry is $96.32. Look at that. Wire back over 2 cents. Guys. This is one of the few that I just nonstop talk about. The other one is Tibber. Oh, look, it's up 27%. This one has ties to Ribbit Capital. Unofficially, but the signs are fucking everywhere. This thing ran up to 400 mil, 430 mil, dropped down to 24 million just yesterday. So guys, like, okay, I know it sounds like we're beating a dead horse here, but the projects that I'm not gonna speak for Rob, but the projects I talk about, and I say with conviction, this is my largest hold. I sold this to buy this. If I'm selling something to buy something, I feel very confident. If it's fresh capital, maybe it's a little bit of a different story. But if I say it's my biggest virtual hold, there's a reason for that. So when you see these price drops of 40, 50%, unless something fundamental has changed, which it hasn't, which is why you haven't heard anything from me about it, assume I'm buying the dips, and I've bought the dips. If something is invalidated, I will tell you guys. And so if all it takes is for you to watch an hour of our show a day and just be in our Discord, or if you want, be in our Patreon, if that's all it takes, you can have the same returns a lot of these people that are still making money in the markets are. You really can. It's just people don't want to put the time in. They really don't. They don't want to put the time in. They just want you to tell them where to buy, where to sell. But at the end of the day, you're going to put in some time. Right? I'm going to put in time. You're going to have to put in a little bit of time, a fraction of the time. So one thing I will note on this one, just watch for a potential head and shoulders on Tibber. To invalidate, we need to get back to all-time high, essentially. So we need to get back up to 4.42 cents. If we don't, this thing probably is gonna have a little more downside. I think Wire just invalidated its potential head and shoulders. So Wire, kind of similar setup here, guys. Shoulder, head. If this failed, this is going to be a shoulder. But even on a wick, taking out 20 cents, we're in the clear, unless this thing completely collapses, which if it does, we'll talk about downside targets on another show. So that'll do it for the show today. Thank you all very much for joining me. It was a pleasure to be here with you. We do our trading show Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after our morning show. You guys know I don't just do technical analysis. I also do fundamental analysis. And then if you want just the news, more of a back and forth two-person host, you're going to want to watch the morning show. You should definitely watch both shows, but the morning show, you'll get more of that as well. So with that being said, thank you very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.